Hello, hello. How's everybody doing tonight? I am back with another fun episode of Chaos here. I noticed that my Alocasia corms are, some of them are really, oh, this one's actually not bad, but some of them are really starting to root down inside their little cups, as you can see. So I want to get some of these taken out of the little prop cup that I start them out in and move them over to a bigger self-watering cup with PON. Puddles, what are you doing? I left one of my cups empty so I could show you what I'm using. This is my outer cup. And then I have an inner cup that I just poke some holes in with a soldering iron. I use a self-wicking string in there and it just goes inside like that. Put some nutrient solution down in the bottom and some PON in the top. I will put the plant inside there and then backfill it with the PON. So I'm gonna just get this one prepped now that I showed it to you. And I just put PON, just enough to cover the string or the rope in the bottom. And then put a little bit of rooting solution down in the bottom of my reservoir here. And I want to put it low enough to where it's not, excuse my puppy, it's not covering the PON. I want it just below so the cord wicks it up. And then I'm going to just take out, I'm going to empty these into this little pot here that I have. And I was rooting these in a contra soil and perlite mixed together. You can use whatever you want, really. A lot of people use Fluval Stratum and perlite or just plain Fluval. There's a lot of different things. Some people use moss. I personally am not a fan of moss because I don't like to pull the roots out of moss. I'm actually struggling with the roots stuck in one of these little holes here. When I use sphagnum moss, I feel like I have to reroot the whole thing anyway, because when I take it out of the moss, I end up pulling off half of the roots. I lost a little bit of root here that was stuck in the string. It kind of grew into the string, but that's fine. I have enough root going on over here to where I don't need it. Can you see all those roots? That really long one that grew into the water, and then this was connected in the contra soil. So I'm just gonna tap off as much of that as I can. I find personally, in my experience, that Alocasia transfer from Fluval over to PON relatively easy. So I don't have to go too crazy with worrying about what's left on there. So now I'm just gonna load it up into one of my little cups. Try to put the roots down as far as I can. Give it a little twist if I need to kind of curl the roots down in there, because excuse the train. I do want the roots to be below the level of PON. So I got them in there. I don't know if you can see it. Take it out of that cup. The roots are pretty low. So now I'm just gonna backfill it with some PON. Make sure you tap it down, fill all around the plant. Make sure your plant is nice and upright. This one is an Alocasia Mellow. Actually, all the ones that I am potting up right now are Alocasia Mellows. And those are, I have all of my, out of all the corms, these ones grew the longest roots. So I'm gonna just, it's gonna drip in here, but that's fine. I'm just gonna wet the PON because it does take a minute for the nutrient solution to start soaking up. And there you have it. Mellow, corm grown in a self-watering cup. And this is a 2 2-inch cup. So the other ones I think are 1 inch, and these ones are 2-inch, and I like them a lot better. And then after this, they'll graduate up into the bigger one. So I will probably keep these in my care until they are ready to graduate up into the 4-inch pot, and they've gotten a couple more leaves and they're, you know, fully established before I list them in the shop for anybody else. I don't like to just transfer things over and then sell them off, because I need to know that whoever's purchasing them gets a nice, healthy, established plant, not just, you know, well, poof, here you go. See, I do find this to be a problem a lot, where the string gets stuck in the roots, or the roots start to grow into the string, and then I have to try to pull it apart. Stop it. I do lose some roots doing that a lot of times. Sometimes it'll come off fairly easy, but sometimes the roots grow into the string, and then I'm stuck. I can't do anything about that. I just have to snip it. So I do still have a fair amount of root hair coming off this corm, as you can see, and some new roots coming in, some thicker, healthy roots coming in there. That always makes me happy. And I will do the same thing. I will just put it down in there, try to get the roots down as low as I can. And then I will just backfill it with PON. Make sure everything is covered up. Puddles, what are you doing? Perfect. Make sure there's no like big air pockets down there. That's the beauty of these self-watering pots, is you can see in there, and you can see if you have any air pockets or anything going on in there, which I do not, which is absolutely perfect. I put these other holes up in these cups just for extra airflow, and the self-watering just kind of brings it on up. Oh, let me water it in with this just to wet the PON. And as I've told you guys before, I have another video in here about the rooting solution that I use, but it is a Clonex clone solution and Growth Technologies root zone. So we got another baby mellow already in her PON semi-hydro. I personally prefer semi-hydro for my alocasia. They just seem to do better that way. Everybody has their own thing, and that's fine. I have a lot of customers who I've been talking to recently who have only ever used have only ever used soil, and their alocasia seem to be doing fine, in which case that's awesome. I personally am an overwaterer, so I do not find that alocasia and soil are a good match for me, because I will probably kill it by overwatering. So, my goodness. Of course, now is when the dog wants to play. All right, I got another one down there. Let me just backfill it up with the PON. This is such a super easy process. PON is an inert substrate, so it's just made out of lava rock, zeolite, and pumice, or some combination of those, however you choose to make it. I do make my own, but alocasia are heavy feeders, so you do want to make sure that you are giving it nutrient solution every time you feed to keep them happy. You can't just give them water when you're using PON, because PON doesn't have any kind of, organic nutrient in it, like soil, or like you can add worm castings or whatever to your soil. PON doesn't have that, so you have to supply everything your plant needs with a hydroponic fertilizer. So I think everybody by now knows that I am a major fan of the nurture system. I do have another video of everything I put in my solution for regular nutrient solution. You can find that on my channel somewhere. Highly recommend. It hasn't let me down yet. I've gone through a lot of different fertilizers, a lot of different things, and that is my golden gold. I don't know what else to say except it's gold. So I do use the Clonex clone solution and the Growth Technologies root zone for my rooting solution. And I will continue to give this a rooting solution until it's a little bit bigger and more established. I want it to just focus on its roots right now. Once it gets a little bit bigger and more established, maybe when I pot it or it gets a couple more leaves, then I'll start giving it some fertilizer, regular feed. But for now, I just want to make it focus on its roots. I am just trying to pack down the PON. I see a couple little air pockets near the roots, and I do not want that because that's how you get dry rot. And that's not good. So you want to make sure you have all the little air pockets filled in. Just check all the way around. If you are using a clear nursery pot or a clear rooting container of some sort, just make sure it's all the way packed down in there, and then make sure all of your roots are covered on the top, so they're not purely exposed to air, or you'll probably end up getting dry rot that way too. So this one is good. This one's a 2-leafer. There we go. Alocasia Mellow, all ready to go. Oop, let me water it in. Everything I have used here should be linked in my Amazon storefront. If you are interested in any of the products that I am using, if you don't see it, send me a comment and I will tell you, I will show you, I will send you the link, I will whatever, so you guys can use the same thing if you'd like to. But for now, that is it. It's literally that easy. Just take them out of the Fluval Stratum perlite, contra soil, plain perlite, moss, whatever it is you are growing your corms in, and transfer them over to the soil of your, the substrate of your choice. I don't personally think that if I were using a soil that I would use these self-watering cups. I just think that it would keep them too wet, and then you might get root rot that way. I do see people that are using self-watering pots with their soil substrate. I don't know what their mixes are. I don't know if it's soil or like a soilless soil, like tree front fiber or coco coir. I don't know whether they leave a reservoir when they're doing it that way or not, or if they just water, like kind of treat it like a regular pot. I'm not really sure because I don't do it that way. So that is it. I hope this helped you. There are my Alocasia Mellow potted up. And once some of my other corms, I start seeing them get enough root growth, or they grow at least 2 leaves. I like to see 2 leaves and good root system, either start coming out the bottom or filling in the sides before I transfer them out of these little small cups into the next size up. You don't want to go too big because you'll rot it out. That's it. I think I covered it all. If you have any questions, please let me know. I am going to clean this mess up and play with my puppy because she clearly wants to play. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Come here.